Good evening all, Patrea here, how are you? There's a bit of an age-old dilemma as to how to prioritise our time. We could either be doing things that are truly important to us, those things that really we feel are going to move us forward. That might be writing a book, it could be really doing some strategic planning. It could be about building and developing the relationships that are really important to you. It could be reflecting on your values and how to, live more truthfully and in alignment with those. But also we could spend our time doing more of the things that are urgent, those things that have a pressing deadline that really they potentially have a deadline driven by someone else. And those things are important, but often the urgency of them means that we're on a little bit of a treadmill, constantly going from one important urgent thing or just one urgent thing to the next urgent thing. And it kind of keeps us busy and occupied, and we may sort of never feel like we get that time to do the things that are truly important to us. And then obviously there are some other things that we could spend our time on, and maybe they're not at all important, but also they're not urgent. So they might be the things like you sit down to watch TV and 3 hours later you're still watching, flicking through things on the channel, and you're just kind of occupying time. So potentially that's not the greatest way to spend our time, and it's probably more of a default, just doing things. But when we really focus on what it is we want to do and start to prioritise, it really can be a bit of a juggling act. So how do we carve out that time to do the things that are truly important for us? So whether it's spending time with people or doing those activities that are a little bit harder sometimes to just squeeze in, especially when there's not a deadline, because a deadline definitely does sharpen our attention in order to be able, it certainly gets our attention and sharpens our focus in order to actually work towards completing certain things. But when something doesn't have a deadline, it definitely can certainly take a lot more discipline to certainly focus on doing those things. So what are the ways in which perhaps you manage to get your important but not urgent activities done, the things that you are prioritising? Because that's the key to living a successful life, rather than always being on a bit of a reactive mode, constantly responding to deadlines that potentially others are imposing, even though they might be important to you, but really working to setting your own schedule, dancing to your own tune. That is where we will start to make a difference in our lives and potentially the lives of others, because when we start leading ourselves, we're in a better position to lead others. Thanks very much. Speak to you again. Bye.